a house in a homeowners association, you think you're being protected until the day that you get hit with a notice on the front door that there is a violation against your property. In this video, I will break down what no one tells you, that includes your realtor, about homeowners associations or HOA, and why this is the side of home ownership that you don't hear about throughout your home buying process. Let's dive in.
Homeowners associations, for the most part, they work well the majority of the time, but when they don't, they can tear a community apart. The Fox 5 iTeams data file heads to East Atlanta, where the price and construction of a gate laid bare a lot of tension.
So let's start with the rules that you didn't see coming. Every HOA has some kind of rules, bylaws. Some are very strict, others are very light. And these rules are not about the board of the HOA. These rules have to do with your house. Yes, these rules have to do with the colors you can paint your front door, what type of siding you can select, what type of rear deck you can install on your property, even to the point that the type of shingles that you should be buying when you replace your next roof. It goes as far and intrusive as how big of a trampoline your kids can have. In some cases, these HOAs even restrict the type of dog breed you can have. Now you wonder, what is the purpose of these rules? And to many HOAs, is just to protect the neighborhood's property values. And yes, I understand that can potentially help when you decide to sell your house, but it feels like a big cloud is just watching over what you do with your house. And that's not the reason why you bought a house to begin with. It feels like you have less personal freedom. Picture this. You buy a beautiful single family home here in Montgomery County, Maryland. You install a nice basketball hoop in your front yard, or maybe you have a patio in the backyard for your kids. And a week later, you get a violation from the HOA on your front door. And that is sadly the reality of many HOA communities here in the United States. Approximately 40 million homes are part of an HOA here in United States. So before you fall in love with your next home, make sure you receive a copy of the resale package of the bylaws, and also make sure you can read it. Let me give you a tip. If you do receive a PDF file, you can open a PDF and you can click on the search button of your PDF reader, and then you can type the words that you are looking, restrictions, what not to do, don'ts and do's, and things of that nature. Now, if you receive the big thick stack of paper, you have no other choice than go through it. Even sometimes AI can now help you identify some of this language that it is inside of this manual, or what I call restriction book. But make no mistake, there is a cost to be part of these HOAs. This is something when a development was being built, a lot of these guidelines, regulations, and bylaws were put together by a group of people. So, and associated with that, there are certain fees that you will have to pay for. The money that you pay, whether it is monthly or quarterly, it is mandatory and you cannot opt out. I'm sorry. So it's important then when you are getting financing approved, you tell your lender that this house has some type of HOA, and that monthly fee should be calculated into your pre-approval so that you know exactly how much your monthly cost is going to be to own this property. And in some of these fees, you probably have access to a swimming pool, a clubhouse. And if you don't even step into these places, you don't use them, you still have to pay because it's for the benefit of everybody in the community. And fees like this, they rarely stay the same for more than 2, 3 years. Most of the time, they go high. I'll tell you my own experience. When I bought my first house, I was paying something like, it was like 80 something dollars per month to be on an HOA. Now that fee has gone through almost $155. Sometimes they have what is called a special assessment, meaning that the board that is part of this homeowners association has deemed necessary to get together and said that there are some additional repairs they need to do that were not projected for this particular year, and they now have to start in a special assessment to pay for those things. Sometimes they go and borrow money, go to a bank and borrow money to take care of those things, and now you are just ended up paying, repaying the bank with interest. Nobody asked you, nobody was asking your opinion. It just gets done automatically.
You might have heard about homeowners having issues with HOAs, but you've probably never heard anything like this.
All kinds of stories. When one woman started to question how her HOA board was spending money, she let Joe know what happened next. Investigator Joe Ducey is here to explain. These things get really dicey over really silly things sometimes.
So it is very important that you review a spreadsheet document that it comes in the resale package, because this is what is called the budget meeting minutes. This is where everybody talks about what is necessary, how much money these things are going to be spending on, what is money is going to be spent, and so on. And it also should have a history where money was spent years before. So make sure you get a hold of this piece of document. This will tell you how healthy it is. Meaning, if they're sitting on some reserves, the chances of having to impose your special assessment gets reduced. But if their numbers, they don't have enough reserves or they're on red, chances are that your fee is going to double up. Now, you probably say, well, but what's included in the HOA? We're talking about the HOA, but is there anything included in there? What's the benefit to me? Not all HOAs are created equal. I can tell you that for sure. Some of them only cover the basics, just like landscaping, trash, snow removal, winter maintenance. Others get a lot deeper where maybe a portion of the utilities is included, like water, or maybe cable, or maybe television could be included. That's very typical here in Montgomery County when you live in a condominium that they able to at a good pricing on behalf of all the owners to get a better deal. Let me give you an example where this can actually help you simplify. Let's say this HOA includes cable, television, trash pickup, and maybe water and some other utility. I am sure that if you will get all these things separately, you'll probably be paying a little bit more than when you actually get it like in this negotiated price. So here's the only example where I think it could potentially make sense, but you have to run the numbers and make sure they add up and make sense. If they don't add up and they don't make sense, if they don't add up and don't make any sense, then I think then see where you have to make a decision. So, who's asking yourself on the show, who is in charge of these HOA? Because how out of thin air this thing exists. So let's talk about management. A well-run HOA or homeowners association, it's clean, organized, and financially stable. A poorly run HOA is just like a money pit. If they don't know how to run something like this, you're just sending money and that money is being wasted. That money is not being used to the full potential. So, by poor management, I mean deferred maintenance. Remember that story, tragic story of that condominium in Florida many years ago that the swimming pool upstairs near the garage collapsed and it had some fatalities. Well, that I can tell you, it was a poorly run HOA. That I can tell you, there was a probably poorly run HOA, in my opinion, or condo association. And there's also a human factor, like these boards are made up of neighbors, homeowners that live in the neighborhood. And then there is the human factor. A lot of these HOAs are made of all of these homeowners, these neighbors that are part of these HOA board because they live there and it's in their best interest to understand what's happening and going on with the community. Sometimes these neighbors are great, sometimes they're not. And sometimes you get the queen bee problem, the Karens of the world. You get those too. I'm referring to people with a lot of time on their hands and they run like they own the entire neighborhood. What's the potential solution of something like this? Just walk the neighborhood. Seriously, you're buying a house, you're buying the roof, you're buying the structure, But you also buy in the neighborhood, the location, right? You always remember location, location, location. Well, that's exactly what it is. And that's what I mean. Look around the common areas. How clean are they? How often the trash gets picked up? Go and knock on some doors of the people that live there and ask them, hey, how's your experience with the HOA? Do you like it? Do you love it? It doesn't mean that you're going to take their experience at 100% for you to decide on that house or neighborhood, but it also will help you and give you an understanding. If you ask three people and two out of the three tell you that it's a good experience with the HOA, so maybe that is the case. But if the three of them tell you, that we love the neighborhood, but not the HOA, then that also gives you another idea. So these are the things that are behind the scenes. You see, the house, it is the main act, is the main thing. But what happens behind the scenes, not a lot of people know it. And not a lot of people even know how to go about to find out what happens behind the scenes. One last thing you have to consider is ownership and rental rules. A lot of these places have very specific rules. If this is your first house, if you're a first time home buyer, you're buying this place with the idea this will be a stepping stone for to build your wealth, that you want to keep this place and buy another one down the road, and then you become a move up buyer, then this is something that you have to pay attention. And lately in the news, there's been a lot of Airbnb, short-term rentals. Are these type of things going to be allowed? Let's say you need to leave the country and go and work overseas, but you don't want to deal with long-term tenants. You want to have more of the short-term thing. That's something that you also have to consider, Airbnb rules and regulations. Long-term thinking is the best solution when dealing with these HOAs. It's necessary for you to think long term. This may not be my forever home, and if since it's not going to be that type of property, what are my options? You got to think of all of those things moving forward. So here's my bottom line: HOAs are not good or bad. They are as strong as the rules and the people managing them. But as a first time home buyer, you have to go with your eyes wide open. Remember, read as much as you can, review documents, ask for the budget. Most important piece of paper inside the HOA resale package will be your budget page. Walk the neighborhood. Know exactly what your money is going to be paying for. And that's it, everybody. I'm Robert Garcia. If you found these type of content very helpful for your home buying decision process, do me a favor and give it a like and a thumbs up. And videos like this will come out every week. Thank you, everybody. If you need to get a hold of me, just click on the link below.